Yeah, I heard you like Theremin. So they added Theremin on top of Theremin to make a wall of Theremin. Here on Metroid Prime Remastered on the Nintendo Switch. The way Metroid Prime was meant to be played, I think. I should mention this right off the bat. I literally played this game on the Wii U specifically, last month. March 2023, I finally pulled out the Wii version of the Metroid Prime trilogy that had been lying in my closet since like 2019 or something. At the time I purchased it, it was one of the more expensive Wii games on the market. But I had a bunch of store credits, so I didn't care at the time. I wanted to get. I had not. I didn't. I no longer owned a copy of Metroid Prime. I think I want to say I rented it when it launched on the GameCube. I never played it. I played it for like a couple of hours. I played it for like 3 or 4 hours, I guess. And I set it down, saying this seems okay. Maybe I'll come back to it. I never did. So then I got the Wii version, which apparently had, well, it wasn't in HD, but it was upscaled to HD. So I recorded it in 720p, and I'll go into more detail about that later. I complained about the controls in the Wii version because you could not play with a gamepad. Well, I brought out my Nintendo Switch, and I'm playing it with a 8-bit DOE gamepad right now. The way God intended. The way the Death Goddess Lamp Valkyrie intended. And I'm going to have a lot to say about that, because if for some reason you want to play the Wii version of Metroid Prime Trilogy with the joypad controls, I guess, you could play it that way. I think it's incredibly frustrating. I'll probably mess around with it a bit later. But I paid my dues on the Wii version. I am sick of the Wii waggle crap. It drove me nuts. I documented every instance when the game was fighting my attempts to just play the game normally. You can also set up a hybrid control system, which seems amusing. I'm not particularly fascinated with the gyroscope on the Wii U. On the Nintendo Switch, I might mess around with it later. I'm not the least bit interested in playing this game with motion controls. So we're gonna play or you can play the way the GameCube did. I don't even remember what the GameCube's layout was. I haven't played a GameCube game on this channel since the Resident Evil 4 video I made for the PlayStation 4 remake. And that game's controls needed a massive overhaul. They never got it. That game just I would argue that Resident Evil 4 remake that came out back in 2017 needed way more fixes than they ever put on it. So that's unfortunate. But I don't even remember how the GameCube game plays anymore. But we're going to play the game the way the Death Goddess intended, with the dual stick control setup. I know, it's amazing. We've learned so much about video games and best practices and user interface since this game originally launched. In fact, when did this game come out? Was it 2007? This game came out in like the Bush era, didn't it? It came out in 2006, I think. Yeah, I don't remember how old this game is. Obviously it came out before 2010 because the Wii was out right around then. So I want to say this game came out on the GameCube around 2005, 2006. I don't remember exactly. That part of my life between 2000 and 2010 was kind of dicey in terms of console gaming, because I was mostly playing my PlayStation Portable back then. And what else was I playing back then? I did a lot of Game Boy games. I did a lot of Game Boy Advance games and a lot of PlayStation Portable games back then. But now that I've returned to, the glorious console gaming, the glorious era of console gaming, I'm playing games like this more often. But if I still had my Wii, I probably would play the GameCube version of this game just to see if I can jog my memory. But again, I don't remember how the GameCube version even plays anymore. I'm very dicey about going back to GameCube games now. One, because I have a Wii U, but the Wii U doesn't play GameCube games. So I don't have a GameCube controller lying around here either. And apparently the GameCube isn't that cheap. I think it's about $100 these days. And if I were to get a GameCube, I would definitely get a Game Boy player. But that brings up a whole other conversation about, do I want to spend the money to get my hands on the disc, which is apparently significantly more expensive than the Game Boy player itself. You can spend $30-40 and get your hands on a Game Boy player, or at least you could back in 2019. I don't know how much they cost now. But you're probably going the wink wink nudge nudge homebrew route. The bubble bubble twirl and trouble route if you want to play GameCube games if you want to play Game Boy games on your GameCube the alternate way, which I'm not in the mood to deal with right now. I'm not going to hunt down a GameCube for that nonsense. I have plenty of retro consoles now. I'm not going to go down the GameCube rabbit hole. All the money that I'm going to be spending on video games for the foreseeable future is going to be on Switch games and completing my PlayStation 4 and my Xbox One collection at this juncture. I might get a few more Genesis games, but this market's still ridiculous. I can't be bothered to get any more Genesis games at this point. Maybe I'll luck out and get my hands on another game I've been meaning to get my hands on at some point. But again, as I said, as I was getting to before I went on this rant, we've learned so much about user interface since this game came out. Because when this game came out, we had not mastered the rules of controlling a camera in a 3D space. A dynamic, user-controlled camera in a 3D space. Mario 64 tried to set the rules. They were fine enough, but it was clear they needed a lot of refinement. You know, using buttons to control a camera is incredibly fraught. We didn't know any better. It was 1996. What the heck did we know about 3D camera control? We knew that, okay, if we could fudge the camera into pre-scripted motions, then we can make like a 2.5D game, like a Pandemonium or something like that. Here we go. So again, this is way easier to control than the Wii version. Just typical circle strafing, moving up and down. It took me 30 seconds to become used to using this game's controls. 30 seconds. Compare that to the Wii version, where it took me several minutes just to get comfortable with the aiming controls and all the fidgeting it made you do, even with the auto aim. Walking in a straight line was kind of dicey in that game. And now I'm using dual stick controls, and it takes me 0 seconds to get used to it. Press right on the D-pad. Switch to the scan visor. Hold down the ZR button, or the ZL button, on this classic controller, and I'm set. It took me 30... I played this game for about 5-10 minutes before I started recording this video, just to see how comfortable I was with the controls. 0 problems. Press the A button to go back to my blaster. Tap on the ZL button and just tag each and every one of these buttons with the auto aim. Takes no effort whatsoever. They fixed the game. Hallelujah, praise the death goddess. They freaking finally fixed this game. No cumbersome finger twisting yoga nonsense with a GameCube controller. No freaking Wii waggle nonsense. Just use your thumbs to move and aim. That's it. No forearm shivers, no jingly jangly bow jangling with your right arm, and you're locking your elbows into your lateral muscles, locking your elbows into your sides so that you can finally, play the game and get a control on this freaking camera. They fixed it, as far as I'm concerned. This is the game I wanted to play when I played the Wii version. I wanted to use my gamepad and play the game with a freaking dual stick control mechanism. And now I can finally do it. 15 years after this game got released, I can finally play the game comfortably. You think Nintendo, of all people, would be interested in helping gamers play video games with accessible interfaces? Wasn't that the whole dream of the Wii, is that your grandmother could finally play video games? Well, with these incredibly cumbersome controls, you wouldn't want to play a game like this. Sure, it's fine for bowling and tennis and golf, I guess, if you aren't particularly interested in a lot of nuanced interface, I guess. If you don't want flexible interface, I guess. Don't get me started. I guess I'm just mad about this because it's like this game is so highly regarded and I couldn't play it because it was trapped behind these incredibly cumbersome controls that people just sort of put up with because we didn't know any better back in 2006. Yeah, people on PC using their mouse to jerk the screen around at high frame rates if they were playing Quake. I guess they were having fun with that. I don't know. What else we got going on here? Let me get my thing out. Console gamers were stuck with these single stick aiming setups. They hadn't quite perfected the whole, Try playing Grand Theft Auto 3 on a PS2, and then come back to me and complain about the controls in modern video games. I mean, I think by the time Saints Row came out, the original Saints Row came out on the Xbox 360. People were saying, "Wow, you can actually run around and jump and shoot in a 3D space in a Grand Theft Auto-like game, and the controls are great. Dual stick controls are awesome. Why doesn't every video game use them?" Hold down the ZL button so I can lock onto these bugs. This is a bug hunt. And I guess I'm somewhat sore about it, because the game is so highly regarded, it's like I wanted to like it, but you had to learn a freaking martial art just to play the game comfortably. I mean, the game's not that complicated. I mean, the controls aren't that complicated. I mean, let's be honest here. We aren't talking about Steel Battalion or anything, are we? I mean, look, I'm comfortable. I'm still somewhat comfortable playing Street Fighter 2 games. So, I mean, obviously I'm not completely unwilling to learn how to play a video game. But there was this sense that I'm not gonna blame the Zillennials for this, but there seemed to be this sense that if you weren't comfortable playing a video game, then you would suck it up and just deal with it and just eventually learn how to play the game as if it were some kind of freaking, what would you call it? Like it's some kind of like Rubik's Cube that you have to master before you're allowed to actually play a game. So now we get a game like this, which keeps the auto aiming. It keeps like the free roaming camera, but it tethers it to a much more elegant modern interface. Again, I never got comfortable playing games like Doom or Quake or Unreal Tournament with a keyboard and a mouse because I just found their controls frustrating. Now, obviously, a lot of PC gamers are comfortable playing the game that way. So for them, you know, using WASD with mouse looking is a perfectly normal way to play a video game like this. So some people are still saying, I can't play with my mouse and keyboard, so this game still sucks. I take the opposite view. Use a morph ball. Press the Y button. The Maru morph ball. So which way am I going? This way? Okay, that's fine. Again, when I was playing on the Wii version, the only controls I liked were when I can transform into the morph ball, because the camera was zoomed out. It was easy for me to roam. It was easy for me to roam around in 3 dimensions. So exploring the game in morph ball mode was kind of easy with the Wii version. When I played the Wii version, this was easy. I just couldn't shoot anybody in this mode. Hold L, use the left stick while holding ZL. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, I'm holding down ZL to circle strafe. Well, I'm strafing, not circle strafing. But again, all of these things were required on the GameCube version because they wanted to make the game accessible. So they did this auto-aiming stuff to arguably solve the 3D roaming problem. Because obviously in a game like Metroid, you need to be able to you need to be able to target enemies quickly, and the easiest way to do that is to do auto aiming. So unlike games like, you know, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Give me that. Press the R button to fire those missiles, and I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, and I can hold down, press the A button. Press the A button to switch back to my gun. I can hold down the Z button to charge up my beam. This ability is going to disappear eventually, so I'm not going to get to it. I'm not going to get too comfortable using it. I'll spend more time talking about this later. I'm a huge fan of the look of this game. This is how I think the game looked in my head when I first played it. So there's that's going on. Like obviously the polygon count's a lot higher now, so and the lighting is way better. But this is the kind of low polygon look I think more games should use, because it doesn't require a massive amount of like processing power. Like if you have a game with a good art style, you don't need a lot of polygons. And if your lighting effects aren't really demanding, then you can make a game that looks like this, doesn't require a whole lot of expensive lighting effects. Like, obviously, in the modern era, a lot of modern games use, like, a global illumination solution or freaking ray tracing. So a game like this becomes more expensive to run because if you have like fancy lighting in here, it kills your processors. It kills your CPU. It kills your video processor. It makes it do too much work, and the frame rate can't stay high. And because everything else has to be done at the same time. How do I... Just a second. Again, if you make a game that looks like this, obviously, you have to spend more time coming up with, like, lighting solutions. Because remember, in the original Metroid Prime, there were lighting solutions. Like, you could shoot a gun, and it would light up a dark hallway. And if there's an explosion nearby, yes, there's an explosion nearby like this, you can see Samus's eyes right there. And those are little touches that they were in the Wii game. And I think they were in the GameCube game, too. So you don't have to spend a bunch of money on an expensive lighting effect, because that effect, there's a similar effect to this in the original Wii game. And that game was like in the 2000s, the early 2000s, they were doing this. So you don't need global illumination solutions all the time. You don't need fancy lighting in every scene, in every area, all the time. Hold on. Let me tag that. I keep forgetting this game is like Myst. You have to keep pixel hunting for crap so that you can advance the story. That kind of thing. Yeah, this New Jersey, Michigan USFL game is over, so we're not going to worry about that anymore. I miss the good stuff, but I'm just curious to see how these USFL games play out. I guess it's like better than your average college game. Hold on. Give me that. You're getting shot. But I do love that reflective lighting, that reflective light in Samus's helmet. Again, that was in the GameCube game, so it's a great effect. I'm glad they kept it. I mean, they're going to keep it anyway. I won't say it's vital to the presentation, but it gives the game a bit more personality than your average first-person shooter did in the era. Like back then, most first-person shooters didn't have that much personality. Like, I would argue that games like Doom, the Doom 2016 version of Doom did a good job of establishing, hey, if you're gonna give your first-person if you're gonna make your person just like a couple of arms, then it's like Overwatch did this well. All you do is you emphasize. I don't want the gun. I don't want the missile. Okay, I got him. I didn't lose that much health. This is all tutorial. I can take hits. I think the game balanced the difficulty a bit compared to the GameCube game. Like, I want to say the Wii version made the enemies do less damage, so you're less likely to take serious damage because you can't aim properly with a freaking waggle controller. Like, you rebalance the game with the understanding that people might be uncomfortable using the Wiimote and the nunchucks to move around. So you make the enemies less damaging, that kind of thing. Back to the combat visor. But again, I do like the way this game looks. So when people say, how do you do global illumination on your new modern video games? I'm like, well, I just played Metroid Prime and it looks great. You don't need an expensive global illumination solution. You're making compromises, obviously. But I already had that conversation with the tech bros who are like, it's a handheld game. It doesn't count. I'm like, thanks, dude. Like, just... I really wish people would cut back on that nonsense. It's like, it's just a Switch game. It's like, yeah, like, look. I'm not sitting here saying that, insert metallic sphere. You mean like this? Yeah, that metallic sphere. It'll unlock eventually. Look, I get it. I mean, there are people who just don't respect the Switch because it's not strong enough to make it's not powerful enough a console to make the kinds of games they want to make with the level of visual fidelity they want to provide. I mean, let's just call it what it is. There are a lot of, like, developers out there who don't want their AAA video games to look like this. They want it to look like Assassin's Creed Origins, or, whoops. Oh, I forgot I can jump. Wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. Okay, I got him with the missiles. I can use the charge beam to pick up my power-up, so give me that. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Again, I kind of feel like you should be able to suck things up without being so close to them. Like a lot of modern video games just let you vacuum any power-ups in the area. Like as soon as you kill an enemy, the power-up is magically transported towards you. So you get to see what you're picking up. So that's always good. By the way, the music's turned down, but the music is very loud in the title screen. But once you actually play the game, it becomes super ambient. So whatever. I'm not really bent out of shape over the music in this game or the volume. Like I'm not that into the ambience of this game in terms of the music. I mean, again, it's good in terms of presentation, but for me, I'm more interested in the gameplay. I mean, the Metroid games to me have been like kind of meh in terms of their soundtracks. Every Metroid game has good music in it, but most of the music is just kind of minimalist, and there's not really much to it. So there are very few songs from Metroid games that I actually want to listen to outside of the game itself. Which way am I going? This again? Insert the metallic sphere. Time to ball out. Roll out like Optimus Prime. I mean, Samus is... Well, she's not a Transformer, but... She does transform, okay. She transforms to a ball, so... She's not that kind of Transformer. Yeah, so what would her name be? Like, what would her nom de guerre be? Roller? I mean, because there was a roller. Okay, there's no music here. I'm pretty sure I didn't turn it off. I mean, I'm assuming people actually want to hear the music at this point. Not as loud as I was expecting, but I'm not complaining. Guess I get to hear myself think. Tap L. Or B to dash while locked on, you mean? Yeah, the B button to dash. I'm glad the game gives you a few options. I had to wait till we get through the force field here. Oh, do I have to scan it first? Scan. Great. Not that I needed that. I'm pretty sure I knew where the weak spot was. Thanks. Do I not have any more missiles? Those missiles. Because I can't use missiles. Okay, he's dead. Well, yeah, she's dead eventually. Yeah, now she's dead. So we're good. So the game's making you comfortable with circle strafing, which is always nice. Suck it down, Queen. Okay. Okay, let's evacuate. We're gonna get attacked, so let's do this thing. I don't know which one I'm supposed to be going. This way, I guess. This way? Not that way. Okay, so we're going this way. I mean, does it matter which way I go at this point? Okay, I guess I'm going this way. Good. So I can't get lost, because there's only one way out. Too bad the save point was before the boss encounter. So I have to do the boss encounter again if I fail again. Come on, hurry up. What hologram? That hologram? Okay, get me out of here. So I died last time. I died the first time I played this game doing this extract. It didn't take me was it 5 minutes the last time I played on the Wii version? At the missile. Okay, he's not. Okay, he's dead. Bye. Give me the health. Your aim sucks. Yeah, the Stormtrooper School of Marksmanship. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, the good old Star Wars Imperial Stormtrooper School of Marksmanship. Yeah, we're fine. We're going this way. Shoot the bugs. I guess. Over here. Yeah, they're doing too much damage. Yeah, I thought I could jump, but whatever. Let's just get out of here. Gross. Going this way? Yeah, that was on the way out, I guess. Wait, did I already come this way? Feels like I'm going in a loop. I think I had this problem the first time I played. I got full health, I'm fine. There is a piston around here somewhere. Yeah, it feels like I'm going in a loop. Okay, it's entirely possible I'm going in a loop. Is this where I died last time? No, I think I'm going the right way this time because I'm going down. Yeah, this is the way out. Where's the piston? Okay, I'm out. Thanks. Thanks for clearing the way for me. Whatever just happened. I don't know what just happened there. I'm not complaining. Yeah, this is the way out. Come on. Where's the piston? Right over here? Again, I like the way this game looks. If you're going to make a low polygon game, this is a good start. If you told me the next 5 years of video games will look like this so that they'll get higher frame rates, I would be perfectly... Of course. These aren't very wide open areas, but again, I'm not opposed to a game that looks like this. Or I'm not opposed to at least 10 games that look like this. 10 AAA games look like this. Similar art style. 60 frames a second. Runs on the PS4, runs on the Xbox One, 720p. I'd be perfectly fine with that. I know people feel some kind of way about that, but I'm like, give people the option to play in 720p at 60 frames a second. Wrong way. Where's the piston? Can I go now? What? Maybe not. I'm not dead, but I have to follow the piston to get out of here. Hurry up. There we go. Thank you. Bye. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, when the Switch Pro comes out, we're going to see more games in 1080p. Like when the successor to the Switch comes out, we're going to see more games in 1080p at 60 frames a second at first. Then the Zelda games will be in. Yeah, the Zelda game will come out on the new version of the Switch, and it'll be 1080p 30 on the new console, and it'll be like 720p 30 on this console. But maybe there'll be a performance. Maybe there'll be a performance version. Yeah, they'll actually no. It'll in handheld mode. It'll run at like 548p 30, and the docked version will run at 720p 30. Like, it'll be interesting. Get me out of here, ZL. Hup. Yeah, you're not gonna use that grappling hook very often. Not till later in the game, anyway. Sit. Got it. I think we got plenty of time. Whoa, 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 wing damage. So how do I get out of here exactly? Okay, we're good. We're going. Okay, we made it. Can't wall jump out of here. Oh, that. Of course there's something there. There's always something nearby that turns it on. Darn it. There's always something nearby that turns it on. Like that. Okay, I don't want to die here. I don't have to do this thing all over again. That. There you go. Should have done that earlier. Oh, okay. I made it out, and I lost all my powers because, you know, abilities. Oh no, I lost all my powers, except the ones that matter. Are we out? Yep, I lost. Yep. Whatever. So we should survive this in the next half hour. So yeah, how do we feel about Metroid Prime Remastered? I like it way better than the Metroid Prime trilogy already. Again, this is the game that should have been made. In other words, the Wii version should have allowed me to use the Wii Classic controller, and they wouldn't let me use it. They forced me to use the Waggle. They didn't invest the extra however much time necessary for me to play the game on a dual stick classic gamepad the way I would have liked. Just an incredibly cumbersome first-person game. Incredibly cumbersome first-person interface. Never was a fan of it. And so far, I haven't been complained about having to recalibrate my controller constantly, like I did when I was playing the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii. So yeah, they solved the problem. So I'm far more comfortable playing this game now, so I'm probably gonna put more effort into it. Whoop, I think I hit something. Sorry about that. I should mention this game, what is it? This cartridge was provided by the Maryland Library System. Remember when I told you that Howard County, the wealthiest county in Maryland, finally allows people to rent video games, but they're only allowed to rent one game at a time. The selection is extremely limited. Like, they have 5 copies of No Man's Sky, a few copies of Metroid Prime Remastered, one of which I picked up. They might have Mario Kart. It's probably out. They might have Breath of the Wild. It's out. I think they have one. I think they have the Kirby and the Forgotten Worlds game. Most of that's out, but it might be available in other places. I rented Animal Crossing New Horizons on using a cartridge from there. That's the Switch. The Switch selection is very limited. I think there's like a ranching game you can get. The Switch selection is pretty limited. I think Minecraft might be there. Am I allowed to save here anywhere? We'll figure it out. Oh, what was it? Not the Wii. What was that? Yeah, the PS... They have Xbox One games, but most of them are things like, yeah, like I said, No Man's Sky is on the PS4, the PS5, I believe, as well. And the Xbox One. They have the Hogwarts Legacy game, but there are... I thought there was a PS4 version. Maybe there isn't, and we're going to save here. Okay, so it's official. This game is better than the original. This game is better than the Wii trilogy version. So I appreciate that. I don't know. It just feels good to play a game that's easy to control. It doesn't require me to learn a new martial art just to play it. You know what I mean? Good old-fashioned dual-stick controls, uber alles. Again, it's like playing a video game with a regular controller instead of some freaking abomination. It feels good to play a video game that takes no time, where the controls are extremely refined. You don't have to spend any time, wrapping your head around, can I walk in a straight line? Which was a problem for me when I played the Wii version. They solved that problem. So now I can play the game I want to play. Praise Lenneth, the death goddess. So where am I? Okay, so I'll let the music play us out. This audio is recorded with my Scosche headphones into the audio splitter with the J5. The J5 Create USB-C connection into my Windows 10 laptop quad-core. Windows 10 camera app recorded this footage at 720p at 60 frames a second. Of course, my my Nintendo Switch was mounted. So I thought I was capturing this at 720p. It might be 1080p. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You're gonna get the full fat version of this video. So I hope you appreciate that. We'll play more of this later. I think this 30-minute research stream proves that this game is much better than the Wii version. I'm far more likely to play through the game now than I was a month ago on the Wii. So congratulations. They did it, fam. They finally made a Metroid Prime game I'm willing to play. Feels good, man. Cue the triumphant music.